that we would talk about customer service with heart. We are in a really tough business, because we spend all day dealing with issues that come up, and it's hard to give that exceptional customer service that we would all like to have and experience, right? So I thought I would share with you some simple things that we can do and some things to keep in mind to help us to be able to give that excellent customer service, which in the end will bring you more business, referrals, create that amazing brand and reputation that you want, so you're not having to spend so much money on marketing to get the business to then convert the leads, right? So I'm all about simplifying life. We've got enough on our plate as it is now. So what does customer service mean to you? We've just come off the holidays, so I know all of you have experienced customer service from the horrible to maybe some good customer service. So just kind of yell out, what does customer service mean to you, some of you? Okay, information.
Someone who takes the time to listen and understand what you really want.
Okay, that's what we would all like, but what's the reality? I mean, I don't know, if you were over Christmas ordering anything online, you probably got to a call center and they're reading from the screen, they're kind of half listening to you, there's a gazillion voices in the background, or you get on a menu tree, you get all the way through the menu tree and then you get disconnected. That happened to me last week. Oh my God, I was about ready to scream after the third time of going through the menu tree and getting disconnected, or they say, please call back later. We have high call volume or something like that, right? So I think for many of us, the idea of customer service is actually kind of a negative experience. And I think part of it is we need to look at how is property management viewed by people when they're dealing with us. So what is the reputation in property management? Well, on your little handouts there, you'll notice 80% of rentals are managed by owners. So right there, that tells you that there's a perception problem, okay? But it's also a great opportunity for us. Let me ask, just a quick raise of hands in here so I have a clear understanding who I'm speaking to. How many of you in here are work professionally in the field of property management? Maintenance, leasing agents, property managers, okay. Is there anyone in here that they self-manage or they're an investor and they manage their own properties? Okay, great. I started out that way, okay, before I got into property management, and kind of found myself here. So 80% of people self-manage. Of that, what did I put down here? It is 33% of landlords do not trust us, and of that, 26% believe property managers lie. And there is a certain amount of truth to that. When I bought my property management company back in 2005, I had owners calling and screaming and yelling, you know, why isn't my property rented, and blah, 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 blah. And the leasing agent that came with the business when I bought it, she was telling the owners, oh, we had approved applicants, but they backed out. We have another application. And I turned to my assistant and I said, I'm not processing any applications. Do we have? She goes, no, she buys all the time. She tells the owners what they want to hear. Well, needless to say, that's not one of my values. And so she was let go after 3 days. Okay? So there is some truth to it. So how do we change that perception, right? People deal with us because it's how we make them feel. Now, I'm seeing a mixed crowd in here, but how many of you remember Cheers from the 80s? Okay, so I'm not that old, I guess. In the theme song, it was a reference to you go to a place where everyone knows your name. We can do all the right things for our owners, but they're in relationship with us because of how we make them feel, right? So we want to think about what are the different things that we are doing. It's definitely cheaper for us to keep existing clients. than to have to go out and get new ones all the time. So just by a raise of hands, how many in here have surveyed your owners? Have actually done a survey of your owners? What about a survey of your tenants? Okay. What about a survey of your vendors? I encourage you all to do that. It takes some bravery to kind of put it out there and a little bit of courage to be open to hearing what they may say, but it is a gold mine of information. I worked in my previous life in high tech in Silicon Valley. And I can tell you the companies I worked for every year had a humongous budget that they spent just on focus groups to find out what people liked about their product, what they didn't like, and so forth. You've already got people working for you or that you are working for that's a wealth of knowledge about your business. So I encourage you to survey them. And they will give you good feedback. I would rather have an owner give me feedback on how I can improve something than have them close out management with me or put a negative review on Yelp, right? So the more that we can kind of look at that, that's a really good way to go. Let me ask you, how do we nurture our clients? What are some ways that we can nurture the existing clients that we already have? What are things that maybe you guys have done in your company to nurture your clients, to show appreciation?
We do a monthly rent winner. They pay their rent by the 1st. We do every month at every property.
Perfect. I like that because that's rewarding good behavior. And I did that in my company too because I didn't want to always be reprimanding, spending my energy on the negative stuff to get people to do what you want. So I'm a big believer in positive affirmation and getting, affirming what people are doing right, okay? So yeah, that's a great thing. Client appreciation events. Has anyone ever done a client appreciation event for your owners? Okay, I would encourage you to do that if you're able to. That's one idea. When I first bought, yes? Nice. That's a really nice thing to do, yeah. I think that when we can show that we appreciate the people that we work with, then they appreciate us back, right? In addition to client appreciation events, if you have vendors, I had a maintenance company built within my company, but when I first bought my company, all my vendors were on the outside. My contract said when I bought the company that I had to use the existing vendors for 6 months before I could go get my own or swap them out or whatever. So I wanted to get to know who these people were. So I did a vendor appreciation event. I guess nobody had ever done that in the history of Santa Cruz County because all the different property managers in the area were calling me up going, what are you doing? All the vendors are like a buzz of some event that you're putting on. And I just made it really fun, and we had a catered event, and we gave out awards, and we recognized them for different things. And I've learned over the years, trying lots of different things, a great thing to show your appreciation to your vendors, gas cards. They love gas cards. So I would give a $100, $200 gas card. Why? Because they're driving heavy commercial vehicles and vans. So they will love that way more than anything else you might do. Something as simple as a thank you card. I know we have technology, but it shows that you took some time and effort. The other thing that I'm a person that likes to keep things easy, so I don't send out things on people's anniversaries or birthdays. I don't even remember my own birthday half the time. So I want it to be something easy and consistent that you can do. And when you want to have good customer service, you want to make sure that you're consistent. You don't want to start something and then stop it. And then, oh, okay, I'll start it back up again, okay? One thing I would encourage you to do, if it's in the realm of how you manage, every year, my office was closed the week of Thanksgiving. So before we would leave for the holiday, we would print out all of our owners, and we managed for about 110, 120 owners, and we would divvy them all up, and people would buy for which owner they really liked, and we'd get on the phone and we would call them and thank them for their business and for trusting us and managing their property. And the first time you call, be prepared. they're gonna panic because they're thinking you're calling to ask for money or something's broken. And that's exactly what happened to me. I'm like, no, that's why I'm calling you. I don't want you to associate our company with negativity. You know what I mean? I don't want you to go, oh God, no, it's them, right? So year after years, we made that a tradition. My owners loved it. And my employees, if you have staff, as the owner of the company, usually I dealt with the owners, but I'd have my staff do it as well. Because when you were thanking the owner for the privilege to manage their property and for them putting their trust in you, okay? Typically, the owner will then come back and thank you for handling the maintenance, finding great tenants. I don't have to worry about anything. The money's deposited in my account every month, blah, blah, blah. And because we are in a business that is problem solving, we'll say all the time, it's really nice to be able to get those pats on the back, right? Another thing that I did that my owners loved, and it doesn't take much time, effort, or money, is I had a lot of seniors that I managed for. So they would come around and literally pick up their owner money every single month in a check, because they had their errands that they ran and their owner statement, and they'd bring in their little pets. I would take pictures of them and I'd put it on mugs. And then when they would come in the next month to get their owner check, I would give them the mug. And then they would call me midweek and say, guess what I'm doing? I'm drinking coffee out of my favorite mug. So every time they see that mug, they're going to be thinking about what an awesome company you are. So those little things that you can do to help kind of show your appreciation for your clients really, really goes a long way. I want to ask you guys, think of a time when you had an excellent customer service experience. What made it excellent? What stood out for you? Okay, going above and beyond.
You really listen.
They listened, right. So if there's a problem, they promise, even if they didn't create the problem, they're going to find a way to rectify it and they're going to get back to you.
And they do.
And they
Yeah,
do,
they could follow.
right? Follow through. How about eye contact? Use of your name, right? I think those things are really important too when you have a really good experience. The tone of the person's voice. Part of feeling heard is that you don't feel like they're rushing you. I recently had an amazing customer service experience. I was on vacation up at the Columbia Gorge this past summer, and I ended up having to have emergency gallbladder surgery. Okay, that was not part of my vacation plan, and I'm out of state, and I'm in Oregon, and within 24 hours from the time I first went to the ER to after they did the surgery and I left, I just couldn't believe the service. I told my husband, who's a retired fireman, I said, everybody should experience that kind of healthcare, that kind of customer service. I walked in and people asked questions and they really listened. I didn't feel rushed. And then the next day when they were trying to figure out if really I needed to have my gallbladder removed, the nurse practitioner called me. She says, you know, I called the surgeon, this is on a Sunday, to see if he had an opening for tomorrow, and he does. So then when they were scanning to make sure everything was okay, he came in his jeans and shirt on his Sunday and was sitting there talking to me about what the whole procedure was going to be like the next day and gave me full information. Knock on wood, I'm healthy. I've never had a surgery, so that could be really scary. You don't know what to expect, what's going to go on. He was very calm, explained the whole process, gave me his information. Next day, I check in, everything was so organized. People kept asking me pain level questions. I never felt rushed. I actually said, is this the only hospital in Hood River? They go, yeah, we're a small hospital. We just have 20 beds. Oh my God. I mean, I feel bad for those people who are in big, huge hospitals because it was just an amazing experience. They used my name. They looked at me. I felt really heard. I felt safe and cared for. I mean, the whole process was amazing. And then even when it came time to pay the bills, the billing people were just amazing. I mean, I hope if I ever have to have another surgery, it might be worth going back up to Hood River. I mean, they were just awesome. So it is all about how you make the person feel. You can do all the right things, but if how you deliver it falls flat, you're not gonna get credit for it. So what gets in the way? Well, typically it's we are busy, right? We are overwhelmed. Maybe we have high maintenance clients that we're dealing with. So the one thing that I want to say about that is from our perspective, it's true. We are busy, we're swamped. What I hear from my coaching clients, they can barely keep their heads above water. I mean, you're just dealing with a gazillion things, a gazillion distractions. But did you ever stop to think, how is our behavior showing up for the customer? So when we are stressed, our voice may be terse. We may be short. So how many have had this experience? You get an email from an owner asking about a showing or an application or a maintenance. Maintenance is even better. And you get it and you shoot them back a quick answer because you're just swamped. And then they shoot you another email 2 minutes later. And now you're doing this volley back and forth for 15, 20 minutes. You're extremely frustrated, they're frustrated. So because you are rushed and under stress, you're not stopping to give a complete answer to that owner about what's going on with the property. And in the end, if you just stopped and given them a complete answer, an overview, anticipated what all their questions are going to be, you wouldn't have been going back and forth. They wouldn't have been getting frustrated. You wouldn't have been getting frustrated. Okay? So we need to stop and think about how are we showing up for the other person? How are they experiencing us? Okay? What about high maintenance clients? Or tenants? You know, we've all had them. And typically, I will share a personal story. This owner named Terry, and every time she called in the office, people would roll their eyes. Oh, it's Terry, right? So one day she calls me and she says, hey, Kathleen, can I come in and meet with you? I'm like, sure. So I set an appointment. She comes in the office. We sit down and she starts talking by saying, you know, you guys are a really good company. I love you guys. But I have to say, whenever I call in to ask a question, and I don't think my questions are unreasonable, I feel like you guys are rolling your eyes at me. Oh my God, I must have turned 25 shades of red. She felt it through the phone. And I had to, I mean, it's so embarrassing. I had to own it. I had to say, I am so sorry. And I had to tell her how we were going to change it. And I thanked her profusely for taking the time to feel safe enough to come and talk to me and share with me what she was experiencing. Because she could have easily just given me a 30-day notice to close out the account, and I never would have known why she left, right? Or she could have gone on to Yelp or Google and done a really nasty review. But no, she took time, 30 minutes from her house to get to the office, an hour with me, 30 minutes back, plus the time to make the appointment, to share with me what she was experiencing from our office. So out of that, what was the change that we made? Shared this with all my employees, and we decided from that point on, any person that walks into our office or anytime we pick up the phone, we are going to greet them like a long-lost friend. Because I don't care how busy you are, if your best long-lost friend walked into your office, you would be like so happy to see them. And if you're like swamped, you would say, I'm swamped, let's get together for drinks after work, or let's meet up tomorrow for lunch. You wouldn't just kind of poo-poo them and rush them out the door. So that simple thing changed how we interacted with people in our office. And that became a real big priority for us, okay? Another thing that may not seem too important, but again, it's that impact that people have in how they experience us. And we aren't intentional. I mean, I didn't mean to be rolling my eyes at Terry, you know, but when someone calls you on it, then you can change your behavior, right? I have a good friend of mine that runs an excellent property management company in Los Gatos, California. When the phone would ring, his system was anybody in the office, the property managers would pick up the phone and address the call. So one day a caller calls in property manager picks up the phone, spends a lot of time with that person on the phone, going through the properties, their processes, all that sort of stuff, and then hangs up. Phone rings again. A different person in the office picks up the phone. Now maybe they were in a rush to go show a property, or they had to leave the office, or whatever it was, and they told the person, who on this phone call, the person had an accent, please go to the website, review everything on the website. If you find something of interest, then call us back. Well, my friend, the broker, got hit with a 6-figure fair housing discrimination lawsuit because that caller was a tester. And the first time, the person gave him lots of attention, and the second time they were brushed off and told to go look at the website. Now, I know for sure that that property manager did not know that that 30-second phone call was going to cost 6 figures in settlement. Okay, that was not his intention to rush the person off the phone. He was busy. So all I'm saying is that sometimes we need to stop and slow down. And my friend now actually has a front desk person that answers the phone all the time, so it's answered the same way. But for him, it was a painful learning experience to get to that point, right? So we just sometimes need to put ourselves in what our clients may be experiencing from us, okay?